ॐ शुक्लां भरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करभावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। अगजानन पद्मार्कं गजाननमहर्निशम् अनेकदन्तं भक्तानाम् एकदन्तमुपास्महे। श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां श्रीहयग्रीवमुपास्महे। श्रीहयग्रीवमूर्तये नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। श्रीमहासरस्वत्यै नमः। उमाकोमलहस्ताब्जसम्भावितललाटकं हिरण्यकुण्डलं वन्दे कुमारं पुष्करस्रजं। வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு ஹரஹரோஹரா. லோகவீர்யம் மகாபூஜ்யம் சர்வரக்ஷாகரம் விபும் பார்வதி ஹிருதயானந்தம் சாஸ்தாரம் பிரணமாம்யகம். சுவாமியே சரணமையப்பா. வாகர்த்தாபிவ சம்பிரக்தௌ வாகர்த்த பிரதிபத்தயே जगदः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ। श्री पार्वती परमेश्वराभ्यां नमः। कोमलं कूजयन् वेणुं श्यामलोऽयं कुमारकः वेदवेद्यं परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। पीताम्बरं करविराजितचक्रशङ्खकौमोदकी सरसिजं करुणासमुद्रं राधासहायम् अतिसुन्दरमन्दहासं वातालयेशम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। कृष्णो रक्षतु मां चराचरगुरुः कृष्णं नमस्ये सदा। कृष्णेनैव सुरक्षितोऽहमसकृते कृष्णाय दत्तं मनः। कृष्णादेव समुद्भवो मम विभो कृष्णस्य दासोऽस्म्यहं। कृष्णे भक्तिरचञ्चलास्तु भगवन् हे कृष्ण तुभ्यं नमः। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं। नम्राणां सन्निधत्ते सततमपि पुरस्तैरणभ्यर्थितानपि आर्तान् कामानजस्रं वितरति परमानन्दसान्द्रां गतिं च। इत्थं निःशेषलभ्यो निरवधिकफलः पारिजातो हरे त्वं क्षुद्रं तं शक्रवाटी ध्रुममभिलषति व्यर्थमर्तिव्रजोऽह्यं। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं। श्रीभट्टपादम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। वंशी विभूषितकरात् नवनीरदाभात् पीताम्बरात् अरुणबिम्बफलाधरोष्टात् पूर्णेन्दुसुन्दरमुखात् अरविन्दनेत्रात् कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने। കൈരണ്ടും കൂപ്പി ഞാൻ വീണ്ടും ഇറക്കുന്നു നീരജലോചന നിന്നോടായി. ഏതീനു മഞ്ഞനെ കുമ്പിടേണ്ട തോറും രീതിയിൽ നീ എന്നെ കളിക്കെന്നായി. കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ. Welcome everyone. Okay, so I think we'll have to do a quick review of ninth one. Radha, can you do ninth chapter?
Okay. Shri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. Dasakam 9 Jagat Srishti Varnanam. The tune marthu pochu. Can you start for me?
Yeah. Stitasya kamalodbhavah tava hinabhipanke ruhe.
Okay. Sthitasya kamalodbhavah tava hinabhipangeruhe kutasvidadamambudau udidamityanalokayan tadikshana kutuhalat pratidisham vivrittananah chadurvyadanatamagat vikasadashtadrishyam bhujam.
The third line after kutuhalat, there's a comma. Okay, third line.
Okay. Thank you. Maharnavavighurnitam kamalameva tatkevalam vilokya tatupashrayam tavatanum tunalokayan kayesha kamalodare mahadinissahayo hriham kutaswadidamambujam samajaniti chindamagat.
அது இங்கே அந்த first line endல, right? Tat kevalam vilokya and then the comma. Okay.
அது I think நான் அந்த அது மார்க் பண்ணிக்கல.
Okay, tat kevalam vilokya and then comma, and then the third line after mahati there is a comma. Okay, and then the last word there is hyaham. I think you were saying hra or something, right?
Oh, okay.
Nissahayo hyaham.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Amushya hi saroruha kimapi karanam sambhavet iti smakrita nischayam sakhalu nalarandradhvana swyoga balavidyaya samavarudhavan praudhadihi त्वदीयमतिमोहनं न तु कुलेबरं दृष्टवान्. Kalebaram. Okay, sorry.
And the second line, krita nischayaha. You said nischayam.
Nischayas.
And is goes away and the visarga comes there. You remove it, put a comma there. Krita nischayaha.
Okay. Amushya hi saroruha kimapi karanam sambhavet iti smakrita nischayah sakhalu nalarandradhvana swayoga balavidyaya samavarudhavan praudhadihi tvadiyamadi-mohanam natu kalebaram drishtavan tatassa sakalanalika vivaramargago margayan prayasya shadavatsaram kimapi naiva samdrishtavan nivritya kamalodare sukhanishanna egagradihi samadhi balamadate bhavadanugrahaikagrahi Chatena parivatsareihi dridha samadhi bandhola sat prabodha vishati kritaha sakhalu padmini sambhavaha adrishta charamadbhudam tavahi rupam andardrisha vyachashta paritushtadihi bhuja bhoga Bhagasrayam.
And the last line, and the paritushtadhir. If you have a visarga there, just put a ir. Paritushtadhir bhujaga bhoga bhagashrayam.
Adrishta charamadbhudam tavahi rupamandardrisha vyachashta paritushtadhir bhujaga bhoga bhagasrayam kiridama. அப்படிதானே?
Correct.
Kiridamakutolasat katakahara keyurayu manispuridamekhalam suparivita pidambaram kalaya kusuma prabham galatalolasat kaustubham vapustadai bhavaye kamala janmane darshitam Shruti Prakaradharshida Prajura Vaibhava Shripade Hare Jaya Jaya Prabho Padamupaishi Dishtya Drishoho Kurushva Dhiyamashu me Bhuvana Nirmitau Karmadha Iti Druhina Varnida Swaguna Bahima Pahima Swaguna Bamhima Pahima Labhasva Bhuvanatrayi Rajana Dakshatam Akshatam Grihana Madanugraham Kuru tapascha bhuyo vidhe Bhavatvakila sadani Mai cha bhaktiratyutkade Bhavatvakila sadani Mai cha bhaktiratyutkade Yudirya gira madhadaha Mudita cheta samvetasam.
And the second line end, you said vidhe. There is no visarga there, just vidhe.
Oh, vidhe then. Okay. Labhasva bhuvanatrayi rajana dakshatam akshatam grihana madanugraham kuru tapascha bhuyo vidhe bhavatvakila sadani mai cha bhaktiratyutkade yudhirya gira madhadaha mudira cheta samvedhasam Shadam kritata pastatah sakhalu divya samvatsaran avapya chatabo balam madibalancha purvathikam udikshya kilakambitam payasi pangajam vayuna bhavat balavijrambhidah pavana padhasi pitavan Tavaiva kripaya punah sarasijena tenaiva saha prakalpya bhuvanatrayi pravavrite prajanirmitau tadhavita kripabharo gurumarut puradhishvara tvamashu paripahimam Gurudayo Ikshitaihi Sri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha.
And the first line matum punaha. Okay, that is not there. Tavaiva kripaya punaha.
Oh, okay. Or what? I can read once more.
I think it's okay. No, I think as long as you correct. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
All right. So let's continue with 10. So I think 10 we finished up to 7, right? So we'll continue with the 8th one. So Prabha, you can be a student. Kanan, you can be a student. Okay, first off. So stanza 8. धर्मादिकानभिसृजन्नत कर्दमं च वाणीं विधाय विधिरङ्गज सङ्कुलो भूत् त्वद्बोधितैः सनकदक्षमुखैस्तनूजैः उद्बोधितश्च विररामतमो विमुञ्चन्. So in this, right, we kind of started seeing the sequence of like who all were coming, right? So it first started with the Sanaka, Sananda, Sanat Kumara, the 4 sages, and then the Rudra, the Mrida came between the eyebrows of Brahma, and then that Mrida then became the 11 Rudras, the 11 Rudranis, and then we saw after that we saw how Marichi, Atri, and all of them came, and Sri Narada came. So that's where we ended, right? The sequence of who was coming when. So next here, the couple of important things are happening, right? So one is Dharma Deva is coming. So Dharma Deva is also the son of the, like we say, loosely the son of Brahma, right? So Dharma Deva is there to establish Dharma and make sure everybody is following the rules. That's the responsibility there. Next comes Kardama Prajapati, right? If you remember, this Kardama is the one who marries Devahuti, right? And then that's why then the Kapilopakyanam comes, right? So that is this Kardama is coming from the shadow of Brahma. So I don't know, don't ask me how from the shadow of Brahma. From the shadow of Brahma, Kardama comes. So each of them somehow is manifested from either the mind or the body or the various parts of Brahma. Next, so all of them gender wise, they have not said anyway, but they have just generally used as male, because the first time they use the gender here and say now a lady comes. right? Feminine gender comes out of Brahma. So this person is called as Vak, which is what we call as, who we call as Saraswati. So this Vak Devi is coming, right? So now again, like we said, the word daughter is not the appropriate word to use here, because it's not daughter in the sense of how we use it, but Saraswati herself also is coming out of Brahma. Now what is happening here is there's a explanation here. Okay, so there are two meanings to this. So I'll tell you both the meanings, you interpret however you want. So one of the interpretation here is, so when Saraswati comes, Brahma then gets attracted to Saraswati. So when Brahma gets attracted to Saraswati, then all these Marichi and all the other children or who came from Brahma, they all go and tell Brahma, like, you are such an enlightened person. None of the Brahmas in their previous lives, nor you. Remember, we're talking about, this story is all happening in the first day of the 51st life of Brahma, that Kalpa, right? So these people are going and saying, you did not attempt to do this in any of your previous Kalpas, nor did any of the previous Brahmas attempt to do it. So whatever you're doing here is not appropriate for your level of intelligence and your level of knowledge. So this doesn't suit your character, and this is not something that you should be doing. So they say that you should refrain from doing this. They come and give advice to Brahma. Now, the other angle to this, the other explanation to this, is to say, if you don't take it literally and you take it, the other approach philosophically here, then the approach is to say Brahma is who? Brahma is the universal soul from whom everybody comes. So now all this creation is going to happen. So this Brahma is like think of them as an unenlightened mind, kind of all of us. And Saraswati is the Vak Devi, right? So she is the Vedas and the Karma Kanda of the Vedas, which says that you have to perform certain rituals, you have to perform certain rites, and all of these things to attain liberation. So Brahma was very attached and strictly following the rules of the Vedas, and this could be treated as the Marichi and others coming and telling them, you have to elevate yourself. You cannot just be solely focused on doing the rituals, you have to elevate yourself. That is the other explanation. Anyway, so but according to the Bhagavatam, doesn't give this explanation. Bhagavatam just says Brahma is attracted to this person. Marichi and others go and tell, you cannot do this, is inappropriate for you. So Brahma realizes that, and what Brahma does is he gives up his body. See, because he is the ultimate creator, he can generate body at will, right? So he keeps his energy, but he gives up that body, says this body is committing a mistake and I should not be committing this mistake, and he gives up that body that he actually has. That's what is happening in this. So dharmadikan abhisrijannata, if you want to break it, dharmadikan abhisrijannata kardamam cha, comma, vanim vidhaya vidirangaja sankulobhut tvad bhoditais sanaka daksha mukais tanujaihi, put a visarga and comma, tanujaihi. Next line, the ru becomes a u. Udbhoditascha virarama tamo vimunchan. Dharmadikana visrijannata kardamam cha vanim vidhaya vidirangaja sankulo bhut twadbhoditais sanaka daksha mukais tanujaihi udbhoditascha virarama tamo vimunchan.
धर्मादिकान् अभिसृजन्नत कर्दमं च वाणीं विधाय विधिरङ्गजसङ्कुलोऽभूत् त्वद्बोधितैः सनक दक्षमुखैस्तनूजैः उद्बोधितश्च विररामतमो विमुञ्चन् धर्माधिकान् अभिसृजन्नत कर्दमं च वाणीं विधाय विधिरङ्गजसङ्कुलोऽभूत् त्वद्बोधितैः सनकदक्षमुखैस्तनूजैः उद्बोधितश्च विररामतमो विमुञ्चन्
धर्मादिकान् अभिसृजन्नत कर्दमं च वाणीं विधाय विधिरङ्गजसङ्कुलोऽभूत् त्वद्बोधितैः त्वद्बोधितैः सनकदक्षमुखैस्तनूजैः उद्बोधितश्च विररामतमो विमुञ्चन्.
Mukais.
उद्बोधितश्च विररामतमो विमुञ्चन्. धर्मादिकान् अभिसृजन्नत कर्दमं च वाणीं विधाय विधिरङ्गजसङ्कुलोऽभूत् त्वद्बोधितैः सनकदक्षमुखैस्तनूजैः उद्बोधितश्च विररामतमो विमुञ्चन्. धर्मादिकार्नभिसृजन्नत कर्दमं च वाणीं विधाय विधिरङ्गज सङ्कुलोऽभूत् त्वद्बोधितैः सनकदक्षमुखैतनूजैः उद्बोधितश्च विरराम तमो विमुञ्जन्
Stanza 9. Vedan Purana Nivahanapi Sarva Vidhyaha Kurvan Nijanana Gana Chaturananosau Putreshu Teshu Vinidhaya Sasarga Vriddhim Aprapnuvam Stava Padam Bhujamashrito Bhut. So next, once all the people come, the next what happens is the Vedas and everything. So Brahma already has all the information, right? So now Brahma has to pass that knowledge to all his children about what the various Vedas are, what the various rituals are, and anything that needs to be followed, the recitation procedures. So everything, that knowledge that has to be shared, Brahma is now sharing all of that with all of the children who are there. That's why all of them have the same knowledge. They're all enlightened beings. That's why they all continue to always be meditating and practicing and doing that. So they all get that knowledge. And finally then Brahma is again now stuck because all of these people who came previously, nobody's creating. That's the problem for Brahma, right? Everybody is like getting all this knowledge, but everybody is sitting. So he has to figure out, how do I get this male, female, how do I get that process going? So then he starts again contemplating on your feet. So Vedan Purana Nivahanapi Sarva Vidhyaha, Kurvan Nijanana Ganach Chaturananosau Putreshu Teshu Vinidhaya Sa Sarga Vriddhim. So put a im, Sarga Vriddhim, next line that ma becomes a, Aprapnuvams Tava Padambhujam Ashrito. If you want to break it, Padambhujam Ashrito Bhut. Vedan Purana Nivahanapi Sarva Vidhyaha Kurvan Nijanana Gana Chaturananosau Putreshu Teshu Vinidhaya Sasarga Vriddhim Aprapnuvam Stava Padambhujamashritho Bhut.
Vedan Purana Nivahanapi Sarva Vidhyaha Kurvan Nijanana Ganach Chaturananosau Putreshu Teshu Vinidhaya Sasarga Vriddhim Aprapnu Vamstava Padambhujamashritho Bhut. Vedan Purana Nivahanapi Sarva Vidhyaha Kurvan Nijanana Ganach Chaturananosau Putreshu Teshu Vinidhaya Sasarga Vriddhim Aprapnu Vamstava Padambhujamashritho Bhut.
Vedan Purana Nivahanapi Sarva Vidhyaha Kurvan Nijanana Gana Chaturananosau Putreshu Teshu Vinidhaya Sasarga Vriddhim Aprapnuvam Sava Padambhujamashritho Bhut. Vedan Purana Nivahanapi Sarva Vidhyaha Kurvan Nijanana Gana Chaturananosau Putreshu Teshu Vinidhaya Sasarga Vriddhim Aprapnuvam Sava Padambhujamashritho Bhut.
Certain. Janannupayamatadehamajjo vibhajya Stri pumsabhavam bhajan manu tadvadhubhyam Tabhyam cha manushakulani vivardayam stvam Govindamaruta nirundhirogan. So then Brahma, like we said, then when he meditates, he then comes to know how to do it. So what he does is, because he is now the old Brahma or the old body of Brahma, because he had that materialistic desire, he abandoned that body. So now he has created a new body where he says from his body itself he creates two people. One of them is Manu, one is Shatarupa. So this Manu and Shatarupa, one is the male form, one is the female form. And then he says, well, I am not going to engage in any activities, you both continue. So those kind of become the first two people who then decide to go ahead and expand the creation. So that Manu and Shatarupa are also from Brahma. They are actually body of Brahma, body of Brahma itself becomes into two, into Manu and Shatarupa, and they are the ones who then go on and creating. So this Manu and Shatarupa is born Devahuti. So that's why it's the Swayam Bhuvo Manurato Janasar, that thing comes, and then Devahuti and all comes. So from this Manu only all of that happens. And like we said, when I was explaining that, I said you can't kind of think of relationship as it's my father's brother and all that stuff. That those relations don't work here, right? Because at the end of the day, this Kardama, who is also from Brahma, marries this Devahuti, whose father is Manu, right? Who also comes from Brahma. So you can't kind of go in that relations. Anyway, so this Manu and Shatarupa comes, and then they continue the process of creation. Oh, that Govinda, O Maruta Puresha, Nirundi Rogan, please eradicate my ailments. So Janan Nupayam Ata. So Janan Upayam, but it becomes an in and nu. Janan Nupayam Ata Dehamajo Vibhajya, comma. Stri Pumsa Bhavama Bhajan Manu Tad Vadhubhyam Tabhyam Cha Manusha Kulani Vivarda Yamstvam, comma, Govinda Maruta Puresha Nirundi Rogan. Janan Nupayamata Dehamajo Vibhajya Stri Pumsa Bhavama Bhajan Manu Tad Vadhubhyam Tabhyam Cha Manusha Kulani Vivardayam Stvam Govinda Maruta Puresha Nirundi Rogan.
जानन्नुपायमथ देहमजो विभज्य स्त्रीपुंसभावमभजन्मनु ताभ्यां च मानुषकुलानि विवर्धयंस्त्वं गोविन्दमारुतपुरेश निरुन्दिरोगान् जानन्नुपायमथ देहमजो विभज्य स्त्रीपुंसभावमभजन्मनुतद्वधूभ्यां ताभ्यां च मानुषकुलानि विवर्धयंस्त्वं गोविन्दमारुतपुरेश निरुन्दिरोगान्
जानन्नुपायमत देहमजो विभज्य श्रीपुंसभावम भजन् मनुतद्वधूभ्यां ताभ्यां च मानुषकुलानि विवर्धयन् स्वं गोविन्दमारुतपुरेश निरुन्दिरोगान् जानन्नुपायमत देहमजो विभज्य श्रीपुंसभावम भजन् मनुतद्वधूभ्यां ताभ्यां च मानुषकुलानि विवर्धयन् स्वं गोविन्दमारुतपुरेश निरुन्दिरोगान्. Shri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha.
So Dasakam 11. So this has got a couple of things there. So at least I'll read you the description that is there in my book. Sanakadinam Vaikuntha Pravesha Varnanam. So entry of the Sanaka sages into Vaikuntham. Jaya Vijaya Shapa Varnanam. The curse they get. Hiranya Kashipu Hiranyaksha Utpatti Varna. Hiranyaksha Utpatti Varnanam. So the birth of Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu. Those are the three things. It's all connected only, but Kramen Sarge Parivardhamane Kadapi Divyasanakardayaste Bhavadvilokaya Vikunthalokam Prapedire Marutamandiresha. So the creation now all the creation now is going in like, what do you call in a well-oiled machine, right? It's all kind of going perfectly fine, no more complications. So Manu and Shatarupa are taking care of everything. So when this is happening, the four sages, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, Sanat Kumara, so who were, like we said, who were born from Brahma's mind and who said, all I care about is just spirituality, I'm not care about anything else. So they have the ability to go anywhere they want in the 14 worlds, just with their intent. And they, unlike us, they do not have any desires. So we all desire, we say, I want to go to this place because I want to go see Egypt pyramids. But these people don't have any desires. Their only desire is to go and always be preaching devotional service. So like Narada, right? So any place these people go, they're always going and preaching devotional service. So that is the only desire they have. And I'm using that word again because it's going to come later as to why. So the only desire they have is they want to just preach devotional service and they're always wanting to be praying to you. So now, as once they were all traveling, then they at one point they actually approached the Vaikunta planets. Like we said, that's a range of spiritual planets where this Karana Vaikuntam, not the one outside the Brahmandam, the one which is inside the Brahmandam. So they approached that Vaikuntam where like we said, where all your devotees, where all the people who are there, and even those people, they are not just like the outside Vaikuntam. The people here also are not bound by any of this birth, death, diseases, desires, none of those things, because they are also always praying to the Lord. And we already saw that, and Brahma also saw that. He said everybody is always praying to you. So only if you are completely interested in doing that, you get to go to the Vaikuntam. So they all, the four of them, reach Vaikuntam right now. So Kramena Sarge Parivardhamane, Kadapi Divyaha, putta is Divyas, Sanakadayaste, Bhavat Bilokaya Bikuntha Lokam, Prapedire Maruta Mandiresha. क्रमेण सर्गे परिवर्धमाने कदापि दिव्यासनकादयस्ते भवद्विलोकाय विकुण्ठलोकं प्रपेदिरे मारुतमन्दिरेश.
क्रमेण सर्गे परिवर्धमाने कदापि दिव्यासनकादयस्ते भवद्विलोक्या विकुण्ठलोकं प्रपेदिरे मारुतमन्दिरेश.
भवद्विलोकाय, third line.
भवद्विलोकाय. क्रमेण सर्गे परिवर्धमाने कदापि दिव्यासनकादयस्ते भवद्विलोकाय विकुण्ठलोकं प्रपेदिरे मारुतमन्दिरेश.
क्रमेण सर्गे परिवर्धमाने कदापि दिव्यासनकादयस्ते भवद्विलोकाय विकुण्ठलोकं प्रपेदिरे मारुतमन्दिरेश. क्रमेण सर्गे परिवर्धमाने कदापि दिव्यासनकादयस्ते भवद्विलोकाय विकुण्ठलोकं प्रपेदिरे मारुतमन्दिरेश.
Stanza 2. मनोज्ञनैश्रेयसकाननाद्यैः अनेकवापी मणिमन्दिरैश्च अनोपमं तं भवतो निकेतं मुनीश्वराः प्रापुरतीतकक्ष्याः. So these rishis, right, like we said, the Ashtanga Yoga we saw briefly. So they are like, they have perfected that, and they have all the Ashtasiddhi, right, like Hanuman does, because of which they can move very easily between all of these things, right? Like it's faster than the speed of light, because these are like tens and hundreds of millions of miles away from each other, but they can just instantly go. They can just think of it, and just the thought, they can go, right? So now in this one, there's a brief, Bhattaripat is very briefly talking about this garden called as Naishreyasa, right? That's the name of the garden. The first line it comes, Naishreyasa. In Bhagavatam, there's a very detailed description of what these Sanat Kumara see, right? So it talks about how in Vaikuntham, although it looks like you have trees, it looks like you have flowers, it looks like you have water and everything, but at the end of the day, it is not distinguished like water. Everything there is spiritual. So everything, it just looks like it is tree, but it's not like the tree is like the animal is bigger than the tree and humans, and there's no such hierarchy. Everybody is spiritual, everybody is equal. So they are going and they're passing through this garden called as Naishreyasa, and then there are 7 doors before you can reach the Lord in Vaikuntham. So just with their mind, just by thinking of it, they're passing through all the 6 doors, and they're passing through the 6 doors to approach the Lord. So Manognya Naishreyasa Kananadhyehi. So put a visarga and comma, Kananadhyehi. Last line, the ra, next line, the ra becomes a. Aneka vapi mani mandiraischa anopamam tam bhavato niketam, comma, munishwaraha, put a f, munishwarah, prapuratita kakshyaha. मनोज्ञ नैश्रेयसकाननाद्यैः अनेकवापी मणिमन्दिरैश्च अनोपमं तं भवतो निकेतं मुनीश्वराः प्रापुरतीतकक्ष्याः.
मनोज्ञ नैश्रेयसकाननाद्यैः अनेकवापी मणिमन्दिरैश्च अनोपमं तं भवतो निकेतं मुनीश्वराः प्रापुरतीतकक्ष्याः मनोज्ञनैश्रेयसकाननाद्यैः अनेकवापी मणिमन्दिरैश्च अनोपमं तं भवतो निकेतं मुनीश्वराः प्रापुरतीतकक्ष्याः
मनोज्ञनै श्रेयसकाननाद्यैः अनेकवापी मणिमन्दिरैश्च अनोपमं तं भवतो निकेतं मुनीश्वराः प्रापुरतीतकक्ष्याः मनोज्ञनै श्रेयसकामनाद्यैः अनेकवापी मणिमन्दिरैश्च अनोपमं तं भवतो निकेतं मुनीश्वराः प्रापुरतीतकक्ष्याः
भवद्दिदृक्षून् भवनं विविक्षून् द्वास्तौ जयस्तान् विजयोऽप्यरुन्धां तेषां च चित्ते पदमापकोपः सर्वं भवत्प्रेरणयैव भूमन्. So these four sages, like we said, just with their mind, they were able to pass through all these gates or whatever is there, right? And eventually when they reach the seventh door, seventh entrance. So once they reached there, and nobody stopped them in any of the seven places, seven things when they were going, right? Because they are big sages, and these, by the way, these four sages, they always look like 5-year-old boys. That's how they look all the time. So they are never clothed, and they are one of the oldest, because remember, from Brahma they were the first people to come, first beings to come out. So they're extremely aged, age wise, and very enlightened, but they were always, that's why they're called Kumaras. They're always in that 5-year-old range, right? 5-year-old boys, and they always travel everywhere. So when they come, so now they see these two doormen who look exactly similar to each other, very same age, they all look exactly the same, and like the Lord, like everybody in Vaikuntham, they are also blue color. They also have Chanku, Chakram, Gada, Padma, everything they have, just like the Lord, because everybody in Vaikuntham is that way. And they are standing there. And when they try to enter, these guards then block them, saying that you cannot enter. So now, when this was happening, right, and then the Kumaras, they get slightly angry. Now the question is, how can such enlightened beings get angry, right? So that's why in Bhagavatam it says very nicely, it says, it uses the word Kamanuja. Kama Anuja. Anuja means younger brother. Kama means desire. So anger comes, only anger is a brother of desire. If you have desire for something, and if the desire doesn't happen, then you get angry. Expectations, right? You don't meet expectations. Now the only difference here is, the only expectations these people have, desire, is to meet the Lord. So they says it is valid. So their anger is different from your or my anger, because we get angry for every single thing. Their only anger is, you are not letting me see my Lord. I'm here to meet my God, Bhagavan, and you are not letting me see that. That is the only anger they get. And so they get anger because they get angry because these people prevent them from entering, right? So this is and we'll see more of why that happens. But here Bhattacharya is saying, Sarvam, all of this, Bhavat Prerana eva. This is all because of your willing. It is not like these people just randomly decided to stop the Sanat Kumaras. It is only of your willing, only your intent of things that needs to happen later, because of which these two people ended up stopping the Sanat Kumaras. So Bhavat Didrikshun, Bhavanam Vivikshun, comma, Dwaha is there put, is Dwastau Jayastan Vijayopya Rundham, comma, Tesham cha chitte padamapa kopaha, comma, Sarvam Bhavat Prerana Yaiva Bhuman. Bhavadidrikshun bhavanam vivikshun dvastau jayastan vijayopyarundham tesham cha chitte padamapakopah sarvam bhavat preranayaiva bhuman.
Bhavadidrikshun bhavanam vivikshun dvastau द्वास्तौ जयस्तान् विजयो प्रयुन्धाम् तेषां च चित्ते पदमापकोपः सर्वं भवत्प्रेरणयैव भूमन् भवद्दिदृक्षून् भवनं विविक्षून् द्वास्तौ जयस्तान् विजयो प्रयुन्धाम् तेषां च चित्ते पदमापकोपः सर्वं भवत्प्रेरणयैव भूमन्
भवद्दिदृक्षून् भवनं विविक्षून् द्वास्तौ जयस्तान् विजयोऽप्यरुन्धाम् तेषां च चित्ते पदमापकोपः सर्वं भवत्प्रेरणयैव भूमन् भवद्दिदृक्षून् भवनं विविक्षून् द्वास्तौ जयस्तान् विजयोऽप्यरुन्धाम् तेषां च चित्ते पदमापकोपः सर्वं भवत्प्रेरणयैव भूमन्.
Yeah, Purna, you had a question?
Yeah, Rajeshri, first line in the end, Vijayopya Rundham, right?
Yeah, Rundham, second line, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vijayopya Rundham.
Sure, thank you.
We'll just switch. I think we'll just stop only with this chapter today. So maybe Rupa and Purna, you can be students. Stanza 4. वैकुण्ठलोकानुचित प्रचेष्टौ कष्टौ युवां दैत्यगतिं भजेतम् इति प्रशप्तौ भवदाश्रयौ तौ हरिस्मृतिर्नोस्त्विति नेमतुस्तान्. So then the Sanat Kumara says, who are these two people who, they are posted in the service of the Lord and they're already in Vaikuntham, which means they should have the same qualities of the Lord, which means they should have all the information that is required. And you can't, anybody or nobody, some random people cannot reach Vaikuntham, first of all, right? So it's automatically assumed that if somebody has reached Vaikuntham, they have the minimum required good qualities and they have the basic requirements to have already reached there. So once they have reached and they passed all the 6 gates, that means you should automatically let them in, right? So the sages are saying, you should let us in. There's no reason why you wouldn't let us in. That's what the sages are thinking. Now, on the flip side, Jaya and the two doormen who are there, so it is their what is their responsibility? They are doing their duty. Their duty is to not let anybody in without asking permission from the master. So their logic is, I should not be letting any of you go because you don't have permission, right, to enter. So so then this becomes this conflict of who is right, whether the sages are right or this thing. But anyway, we'll see that little bit, that logic later. But these two people are, their reasoning is, you don't have permission to enter, so I cannot let you in. So then these the Sanat the Kumaras are saying that you are finding duality now. We've reached this place and you are treating us different from the Lord. We are already in Vaikuntham, which means we are like the Lord. We are there. So because of your duality, you are not eligible to be in Vaikuntham. So this is, you have to then go and you have to then learn your lesson and you have to go down to the material world where you have to experience this Kamam, Krodham, Moham and all of that, the 3 enemies, which is because you have to overcome all of those to be in Vaikuntham, but looks like you have somehow missed a portion of it. So because of which you have to then go into the material world and experience all of that. So when they are getting cursed like this Jaya and Vijaya, who are, of course, they know that once the these Kumaras are cursing, there's nothing that could be done. So they immediately fall on their feet. They realize their mistake, saying it's our mistake that we didn't realize who you are. But however, nothing can be done to counteract that. So they request, saying that maybe Hari Smriti at least bless us, so that when we go down to the material world, we still always remember Hari. We don't forget that Hari and we're able to constantly think about that Hari all the time. That's the request they're making to the sages. So Vaikuntha Lokan Uchita. So Vaikuntha Lokan Uchita Pracheshtau, Kashtau Yuvam Daitya Gatim Bhajetam. So the word Daitya is used, Asura is used very loosely. The Asura doesn't mean somebody has to have a horn and a teeth and everything. It is just that you are contaminated with all the bad qualities, right? So you have that Kamam, Krodham, Moham, all of those bad qualities, which means a lot of us are also Daityas from that mean. But anyway, here is saying you are going to become Daityas. Daitya Gatim Bhajetam iti prashaptau bhavadashrayau tau, Hari Smritir Nostviti. So that word you have to say it together. Nostviti nematustan. Vaikunthalokanuchita pracheshtau kashtau yuvam daityagatim bhajetam iti prashaptau bhavadashrayau harismritirnostviti nematustan.
वैकुण्ठलोकानुचितप्रचेष्टौ कष्टौ युवां दैत्यगतिं भजेतम् इति प्रशप्तौ भवदाश्रयौ तौ हरिस्मृतिर्नोस्त्विति नेमतुस्तान् वैकुण्ठलोकानुचितप्रचेष्टौ कष्टौ युवां दैत्यगतिं भजेतम् इति प्रशप्तौ भवदाश्रयौ तौ हरिस्मृतिर्नोस्त्विति नेमतुस्तान्
वैकुण्ठलोकानुचितप्रचेष्टौ कष्टौ युवान् दैत्यगतिं भजेतम् इति प्रशप्तौ भवदाश्रयौ तौ हरिस्मृतिर्नोस्तुति स्तुति एते मतुस्तान्
Nostviti.
नोस्त्विति
Yeah.
नेमतुस्तान्
TVITI. Tviti.
वैकुण्ठलोकानुचितप्रचेष्टौ कष्टौ युवान् दैत्यगतिं भजेतम् इति प्रशप्तौ भवदाश्रयौ तौ हरिस्मृतिर्नोस्त्विति स्तुतिते मते तुते
Name.
स्तुतिने मतुस्तान्
See, under Rupa. Nostviti.
नोस्त्विति
Yeah.
नोस्त्विति. Okay.
Yeah, just you have to say it together. If you try to break it, then it won't work. So just say the whole that word together. That's right. तदेतदाज्ञाय भवानवाप्तः सहैव लक्ष्म्या बहिरम्बुजाक्ष खगेश्वरां सार्पितचारुबाहुः आनन्दयं स्थानभिराममूर्त्या. So at that moment, so when they curse and then these Jaya Vijaya, the two Dwarapalakas are falling on the feet of the Sanat Kumaras, so at that time the Lord who then comes to know about it or decides to come out at that point, so Ambujaksha Lotus said, Lord, you are coming out and you are coming out with Sahaiva Lakshmiya along with Lakshmi Devi and Khageshwara. Khageshwara means Kaga Ishwara, one who is the Lord of birds, which is Garuda. So anytime the Lord is coming with Lakshmi Devi, that means that somebody is going to get a blessing. Right, because that's the prosperity is coming, good things are going to happen to you, right? So he's coming with Lakshmi Devi here with the Garuda, and then when the Sanat Kumaras they're seeing, so they have always been thinking about the Lord and meditating about the Lord, meditating on the Lord. So now for the first time they are actually seeing him in person. So when they saw him in person, then they reached a state of extreme bliss and they were extremely happy because that's what they've come there for. They've come there to get a darshan, and then they get the darshan and they're very happy about it. तदेतदाज्ञाय भवानवाप्तः सहैव लक्ष्म्या बहिरम्बुजाक्ष, or you can say it together, बहिरम्बुजाक्ष खगेश्वरां सार्पित चारु बाहुः, put a visarga and comma, bahuhu, comma, next ra becomes a, anandayamstan abhirama murti. If you want to break that, it's easy to break it, anandayamstan abhirama murtya. तदेतदाज्ञाय भवानवाप्तः सहैव लक्ष्म्या बहिरम्बुजाक्ष खगेश्वरां सार्पितचारुबाहुः आनन्दयं स्थानभिराममूर्त्या.
तदेतदाज्ञाय भवानवाप्तः सहैव लक्ष्म्या बहिरम्बुजाक्ष खगेश्वरां सार्पितचारुबाहुः आनन्दयं स्थान् अभिराममूर्त्या. तदेतदाज्ञाय भवानवाप्तः सहैव लक्ष्म्या बहिरम्बुजाक्ष खगेश्वरां सार्पितचारुबाहुः आनन्दयं स्थान् अभिराममूर्त्या.
तदेतदाज्ञा भवानवाप्तः सहैव लक्ष्म्या बहिरम्बुजाक्ष खगेश्वरां सार्पितचारुबाहुः आनन्दयं स्थाम् अभिराममूर्त्या.
The first line, तदेतदाज्ञाय
तदेतदाज्ञाय भवानवाप्तः सहैव लक्ष्म्या बहिरम्बुजाक्ष खगेश्वरां सार्पितचारुबाहुः आनन्दयंस्ताम् अभिराममूर्त्या.
Stanza 6. Prasadya ghirbestuvato munindran ananyanatāvata parshadautau samramba yogena bhavaistribhirmam upedamityata kripam nyagadihi. So when the Lord comes, so the four sages, Sanaka, Sananda, they realize, they're saying that, actually we were, we were very haughty, we realized the mistake that we made. Says, although the doorkeepers did not, sometimes you make a mistake and then you realize I shouldn't have done that. That's what they also realize. They're saying that, we also got carried away. As such saints, no matter what situation, we cannot even have the smallest amount of anger come to us. So they're saying they apologize to that. And then they also request the Lord that please make sure that going forward, no matter what situation it is, no matter what hellish conditions come, we do not get angry and we are able to maintain our state of mind. So that's what they request. But then now the Bhagavan says, he says to Jaya and Vijaya that what you have committed is definitely an offense. He says these two people are so enlightened beings who are come and they've reached all the way here, and then there should be no reason why they should have been blocked. While it's your duty to check, at the same time, it's also a little bit of due diligence, right? He says you should have let them come in. And he also tells this is not the first time. He says there has been another incident which has happened where once Mahalakshmi herself was stopped by Jaya and Vijaya from entering into that through the door. So he says it's not the first time you are committing the offense, it's the second time you are committing the offense. He says, however, you both are big devotees of mine, so you still, the curse of the Brahmanas cannot be taken back, so you are going to be born. However, Samrambha Yogena. So like we say, the yoga is union with God, and we talk about the various times of various unions of God. So the Samrambha Yogena is the yoga through hatred. So because that is the quickest way, because if somebody hates you so much, if your child is coming and nagging you saying, I want this, you just want to quickly give it and get rid, right? But if the child is asking you a nice way, it takes a long time for the child to convince you. So he's saying, you are going to attain me fast through Tribhirmam, through in 3 lives you have to take. And after those 3 lives, in each of those 3 lives, you will attain me. After the 3 lives, you will attain me. But each of the lives, I'm going to come and I'm going to give you liberation. But you're going to be always thinking about me in a hatred, in a hateful way. So with that, the Lord then blesses them. So prasadya girbihi is there, put a is girbis. Stuvato munindran, put a in, comma. Next slide, na becomes a. Ananya nathavata parshadau tau samrambha yogena bhavais tribhirmam, put a im, tribhirmam, comma. Next line, mu becomes u. Upetam ityata kripam nyagadihi. Prasadyaghirbestuvato munindran ananyanathavata parshadau tau samrambha yogena bhavaistribhirmam upetamityata kripam nyagadihi.
प्रसाद्य गीर्भस्तुवतो मुनीन्द्रान् अनन्यनाथावत पार्षदौ तौ संरम्भयोगेन भवैस्त्रिभिर्माम् उपेतमित्यातकृपं न्यगादीः.
That first line is prasadya girbis.
प्रसाद्य गीर्भिस्तुवतो मुनीन्द्रान् अनन्यनाथावत पार्षदौ तौ संरम्भयोगेन भवैस्त्रिभिर्माम् उपेतमित्यातकृपं न्यगादीः.
प्रसादगीर्भिस्तुवतो मुनीन्द्रान् अनन्यनाथावत पार्श्वदौ तौ संरम्भयोगेन भवैस्त्रिभिर्माम् उपेत्यमित्यातकृतं न्यगादीः.
Upetam, last line, upetam, not tya.
उपेतमित्या.
Yeah, correct.
उपेतमित्यात् कृपं न्यगादीः.
Sorry, Rupa, Upetamityat to it and ta.
Okay, mityat. Prasataghirbhistuvato munindran ananyanatha vatapashvadautau samrambhayogena bhavaistribhirmam upetamityat kripam nyagadihi.
Stanza 7. Twadhiya bhrityavata kashyapatau surarivira buditau ditau dhvau sandhya samutpadana kashta cheshtau yamau cha lokasya yama bivanyau. So now fast forward, right? So Diti and Aditi, who are married to Kashyapa Muni, Kashyapa is the son of Marichi, who then came from Brahma. We saw in the beginning itself, Marichi came. Kashyapa is the son of Marichi. Then Diti and Aditi are married. So this Kashyapa is always in a state of penance and meditating all the time. So one evening, somehow Diti felt that this was the time that she felt like she wanted to actually have children. And she goes and approaches Kashyapa and says that, that all my other Kashyapa is, and there's another story that's going to come in the later, we're going to see later about how Kashyapa is married to multiple people, right? He has multiple wives, the daughters of Daksha, etc. So she says all of them seem to have a lot of children, but I don't have children, and I want to have children with you right now. And Kashyapa says, you have to wait, because this is Sandhya Samayam. This is the evening time. This is a Pradosha Kalam, where the only thing you should be doing at this time is praying to Lord Shiva. You should not be engaging in any other activities, right? But she somehow, Diti is, all of this is triggered by the Lord, right? So Diti is somehow telling, no, I can't wait, right? I want to have children with you and I want to do it now. So Kashyapa then wants her, but then anyway, so they end up, the Diti and the Kashyapa end up trying to have a child. And then Kashyapa then warns her that because of what you did, because of what you forced in an inauspicious time, he says what's going to happen is the children who are going to be born to you are Yamau cha lokasya yama vivanyo. So Yamau means two also in Sanskrit. So they are equivalent to Yama. They are going to be such boys, children, that they are going to be equivalent to Yama, and all they're going to do is they're going to go around cause destruction in the entire world. So then Diti realizes, after it happens, Diti realizes that I made a mistake. I shouldn't have forced this upon you. She says, what is the pariharam? He says, nothing can be done. However, the Lord is going to take birth. So again, all of these people can see what's going to happen in the future. And Kashyapa tells, Lord is going to come and he is going to liberate these two, but nothing can be done. Those two are going to be born, and those two are going to be like the Yama to the world. So, Tvadiya Bhrityavata Kashyapatau Itandatau Kashyapatau, comma, Surari Veera Uditau Ditau Dvau Sandhya Samutpadana Kashta Cheshtau, comma, Yamau cha Lokasya Yama Vivanyau. Tvadiya Bhrityavata Kashyapatau Surari Veera Uditau Ditau Dvau Sandhya Samutpadana Kashta Cheshtau Yamau cha Lokasya Yama Vivanyau.
Tvadiya bhrityavata kashyapatau surari veera uditau ditau dvau samutpadana kashta cheshtau yamau cha lokasya yama vivanyau.
And the first line, Kashyapatau.
Okay. Tvadiya bhrityavata kashyapatau surari veera uditau ditau dvau Sandhya samutpadana kashta cheshtau yamau cha lokasya yama vivanyau.
Tvadiya bhrityavata kashyapatau surari veera uditau ditau dvau sandhya samutpadana kashta cheshtau yamau cha lokasya yama vivanyo. Tvadiya bhrityavata kashyapatau surari veera uditau ditau dvau sandhya samutpadana kashta cheshtau Yamau cha lokasya yama vivanyo.
Kashyapatava, Kashyapatava.
Kashyapatau.
Kashyapatava.
And the Kashyapa, but in the to Kashyapa, apdi varnala, and the word from Kashyapa, apdi varnala, Kashyapatau.
Ad madri third line, just cheshtauva, cheshtauva.
Cheshtau, ta, no tra, tau.
in my book anga cheshtrau nu potruk.
Yeah, just change it to tau. No ra. Cheshtau.
Okay.
Cheshtau. Okay. हिरण्यपूर्वः कशिपुः किलैकः परो हिरण्याक्ष इति प्रतीतः उभौ भवन्नाथमशेषलोकं रुषान्यरुन्धां निजवासनान्धौ. So there's another long description which in Bhagavatam, when and not there in Narayaneeyam, but when Diti was carrying the two children, like sometimes in pregnant women you see the tejas coming out of them, the hair is becoming nice, your face is shining, but somehow when Diti was carrying it, they could see the heat coming out so much that the devas actually got very worried that something is going to happen, that they felt that something bad is going to happen. So they all go and approach, as usual, they go to Brahma and say, what is happening? We see some very strong heat and negative energy coming from this place, and what is happening? So then Brahma says, all of you are going to have it. There are two asuras who are going to be born, who are going to come and torment you, and they are sitting in Diti's garbham right now. So the devas go and say, can we go stop them from being born? Can we go, like literally they say, can we go prevent that from happening, from these babies and children from being born? So Brahma says, no, these babies are going to be born, and eventually the Lord will come and protect you, right? So that's what he says. He says nothing can be done. So that was the amount of power that was happening, because these two were literally, they're going to torment everything, because they're equivalent, right? The amount of fight they do, they were able to control the devas. Anyway, so to them are born two children. One is Hiranyaksha, one is Hiranyapurva Kashipu. So Kashipu with Hiranya in the front. So Hiranya Kashipu. So those two are actually born, and who both of them, of course, Nija, they are, of course, by the moment they were born, that inherent vasana that is there in them is that of hatred to everybody and then destruction. So they then start tormenting the entire world. Where you are the Lord, they start tormenting the entire world. So Hiranya Purvaha, put a Purvah, Kashipuhu, again Kashipuh, Kilaikaha, comma, Paro Hiranyaksha iti pratitaha, Ubhau Bhavannatam Ashesha, if you want to break it, Bhavannatam Ashesha Lokam, comma, Rusha Nyarundham Nija Vasanandhau. And blinded, so they're blinded because of the inherent vasanas that they had, that they couldn't do anything. That is how they were born, right? Hiranyapurvah Kashipuh Kilaikaha Paro Hiranyaksha iti pratitaha Ubhau Bhavannathamashesha Lokam Rusha Nyarundham Nijavasanandhau.
Hiranyapurvah Kashipuh Kilaikaha Paro Hiranyaksha iti Ubhau Bhavannathamashesha Lokam Rushanyarundham Nijavasanandhau. Hiranyapurvah Kashipuh Kilaikaha Paro Hiranyaksha iti pratitaha Ubhau Bhavannathamashesha Lokam Rushanyarundham Nijavasanandhau.
Hiranyapurvah Kashipuh Kilaikaha Paro Hiranyaksha iti pratitaha Ubho Bhavannathamashesha Lokam Rushanyarundham Nijavasanandhau. Hiranyapurvah Kashipuh Kilaikaha Paro Hiranyaksha iti pratitaha Ubho Bhavannathamashesha Lokam Rushanyarundham Nijavasanandhau.
That's right. Tahyor Hiranyaksha Mahasurhendro Rana Yadha Bandhanavapta Vairi Bhavat Priyam Kshmam Salile Nimajya Chachara Garvad Vinadan Gadhavan. So the first one, which is Hiranyaksha, so he then of course he starts tormenting, and then he starts defeating everybody who is there. He's able to defeat. So sometimes when you're so strong that you don't have an opponent, then you start trying to create more disturbance to create attention, right? So what he does is he says, I don't know what else to do. So he says, I'm going to go and displace Earth from its location, so that I can gather more attention. So he's trying to fight somebody. He's not able to find anybody who is equivalent to him to fight with, right? So this is what he does is then the Bhavat Priya, the earth which is very dear to you, so he then goes and displaces the earth, and then like we said, puts it in the bottom at the Garbhodaka ocean. He goes and displaces the earth there. So Tayor Hiranyaksha Maha Surendro, Ranaya Dhavan Nanavapta. So in and na Dhavan Nanavapta Vairi Bhavat Priyam Kshmam. So it's a iksh only, not a full ksha. So Kshmam Salile Nimajya, Chachara Garvad Vinadan Gadavan. Tayor Hiranyaksha Maha Surendro Ranaya Dhavan Nanavapta Vairi Bhavat Priyam Kshmam Salile Nimajya Chachara Garvad Vinadan Gadavan.
तयोर्हिरण्याक्ष महासुरेन्द्रो रणाय धावन् ननवाप्तवैरी भवत्प्रियां क्ष्मां सलिले निमज्य चचार गर्वात् विनदन् गदावान् तयोर्हिरण्याक्ष महासुरेन्द्रो रणाय धावन् ननवाप्तवैरी भवत्प्रियां क्ष्मां सलिले निमज्य चचार गर्वात् विनदन् गदावान्
तयो हिरण्याक्ष महासुरेन्द्रो रणाय धावन् ननवाप्तवैरी भवत्प्रियां क्ष्मां सलिले निमज्य चचार गर्वात् द्विनदन् गदावान्.
And the last line, Chachara Gar, if you say Garvad, then becomes Vinadan. Garvad Vinadan Gadavan.
चचार गर्वात् विनदन् गदावान्. तयो हिरण्याक्ष महासुरेन्द्रो रणाय धावन् ननवाप्तवैरी भवत्प्रियां क्ष्मां सलिले निमज्य चचार गर्वात् विनदन् गदावान्.
ततो जलेशात् सदृशं भवन्तं निशम्य बभ्राम गवेशयं स्वां भक्तैकदृश्यः सकृपानिधे त्वं निरुन्धिरोगान् मरुदालयेश. So then when he's roaming around, he then goes to Varuna and says, I want to battle with you, right? Varuna says, you know what, I am not as strong as you, I am weak, so there's no use trying to win with me. He says, if you want somebody who is your opponent, then you go meet that Vaikuntapati, he is the best. You know, the Lakshmipati, he is the best. You go into the Vaikuntha, he is the best person to fight with you. He is really strong. So he says, you go look for him. So this Hiranyaksha now goes about looking for where the Lord is, right? So that's why, but however, Bhadrapad says, you Bhaktaikadashi, you are only visible to your devotees or to others when you want, when the time is appropriate. So yeah, that's why this person is Hiranyaksha is continuing to look. So if you remember what's happening in the future, the Lord then takes the avataram, he gets the earth out, puts the earth back, then Narada is going, right? Narada is always the mediator. So he is going and saying, you're looking for Narayana, he's there. The earth you displaced, he just helped it out. So I think it's apt time, we should go fight this person, right? That's when he goes and says, what are you in the form of an animal and all that Hiranyaksha says, right? So that's what. So anyway, so at this point, he's going around looking for where the Lord is. So Nirundi Rogan Mardalesha. Tato Jaleshat Sadrisham Bhavantam, Nishamya Babhrama Gaveshayamstvam Bhaktaika Drishyaha, put is Drishyas Sa Kripanidhe Tvam, Nirundi Rogan Marudala Yesha. Tato Jaleshat Sadrisham Bhavantam Nishamya Babhrama Gaveshayam Stvam Bhaktaika Drishyas Sakripa Nidhe Tvam Nirundi Rogan Marudala Yesha.
ततो जलेशात् सदृशं भवन्तं निशम्य बभ्राम गवेशयं स्वां दृश्यस्य कृपानिधे त्वं निरुन्धिरोगान् मरुदालयेश. ततो जलेशात् सदृशं भवन्तं निशम्य बभ्राम गवेशयं स्वां भक्तैकदृश्यस्य कृपानिधे त्वं निरुन्धिरोगान् मरुदालयेश.
ततो जलेशात् सदृशं भवन्तं निशम्य बभ्राम गवेशयस्त्वां भक्तेकदृश्यः सकृपानिधे त्वं निरुन्धिरोगान् मरुदालयेश ततो जलेशात् सदृशं भवन्तं निशम्य बभ्राम गवेशयस्त्वां भक्तेकदृश्यः सकृपानिधे त्वं निरुन्धिरोगान् मरुदालयेश.
Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. Let's end the class here early today, and then next time we'll start with the 18th one. सान्ध्रानन्दावबोधात्मकमनुपमितं कालदेशावदिभ्यां निर्मुक्तं नित्यमुक्तं निगमशतसहस्रेण निर्भास्यमानम् अस्पष्टं दृष्टमात्रे पुनरुरुपुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावद्भाति साक्षात् गुरुपवनपुरे हन्त भाग्यं जनानां कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. Thank you everybody.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
Bye.